Well, good morning. It's been some time since I've been able to get out and take my camera into the Blue Mountain Birch Cove Lakes wilderness area. What a summer. It has been hot and dry, and there's been a fire ban on all summer with the exception of just a few days where it might have rained. The next day may have been fire permitted, but the next day after it was too dry again to have a fire. So I haven't been out all that often here. Now I have been out other places and I have some videos with that, but getting back into the Blue Mountain area has a special meaning to me. It's kind of like getting reacquainted with an old friend. So I am out here to make a video today, which I'll share with you. But you know, I thought I might just turn the camera on now and then, take a few pictures of anything I think you might be interested in seeing, and just settle down and have a nice cup of coffee. If you're interested in watching that, stay tuned. You know, one of the nice things about being familiar with the plants that grow in your area is that pretty much all year long, especially during the spring, summer, and fall, but even into the winter, you can usually find something of an edible nature, or at least a medicinal nature, that would be nice to pick up as you go along. So I just came across a huckleberry bush. Now this is the black huckleberry, and it's not the same as the western huckleberries, but I'll put more information on the screen about this one. But they're just coming beautifully ripe right now. You can see how black they are. They look like a blueberry for good reason. They are related to blueberries. And I had to munch down on those. The nice thing about this is blueberries are gone, blackberries are in season, but so are the huckleberries. So I'm out today and I'm finding I may just have to pick a lot of these. Are they ever sweet? They're just perfect right now. Nice. See what else I can find. Thought I'd just share a couple more of the plants that are native to this area. Some of which, or at least one of which, within my field of view has possible use. So one of which here, now this is neither medicinal nor edible to the best of my knowledge, is referred to as leather leaf. Of course, we have bracken fern, which I'm sure most people are familiar with. Pitcher plants. Carnivorous little things that they are, holding water in them like a pitcher. The bugs fall in, they drown, and eventually they decompose, and that's one of the sources of nutrients for this plant. But one that I'm particularly interested in right here is known as the cotton plant, and I'll put the proper name on the screen for you. You can see this time of year it has a nice fuzzy cotton. Actually, it is related to the real cotton plant. And, you know, I believe that it'd make a nice fire starter. I've never used it. I've never had an opportunity to need it or collect it, but I will, because I'm going to be doing a video in the near future on alternatives to birch bark. So here's one right here, the cotton plant. A little look around. Lilies out in the water. Ooh, more of my new favorite. Well, they've always been a favorite, but today they're my favorite, huckleberries. All right. What a beautiful day. It's the 10th of September here in Halifax, and there's not a cloud in the sky anywhere. Very low humidity, which is a welcome relief after the heat of the summer and the humidity of the summer. Probably running around 20-21 degrees Celsius, so not too warm, just comfortable. Just what you want this time of year. And no flies. I haven't seen one mosquito, black fly, deer fly, or anything else. Light breeze coming out of the north. Hopefully it's not affecting the sound quality of the video. But I've stopped by the side of Susie Lake and on this little granite outcrop here, and it's time to make myself a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy a light lunch. So let's get started. Since we're still under a fire ban, I won't be able to use my wood stove today, but I can use my Trangia, or my Trangia knockoff. Little kit I put together involves using the Firebox Nano primarily, so it does give me the option of using wood if we're allowed to have fires, and if not, it's perfect for using my Trangia in, or my Trangia knockoff. So I need to put the little sticks in to hold it up. One on each side. And I have some nice, relatively level location for it here. I have the legs turned out because the pot, there we go, that's pretty good. The pot I'll be using today is my Pathfinder 1.2 liter stainless steel kettle. I'll also put that in. Yeah, it looks nice and stable. I don't think I'll need too much alcohol, but that should be plenty. Put that aside. I do have a windscreen I'm going to put up anyway. There's my little wick. There it is. Find sometimes it can be a little challenging getting the Bic lighter to reach down and the flame to hit the alcohol, so a little trick is I just have a little candle wick that I dip in the alcohol, light, and away it goes. So while that's coming to a bloom, I will put my, one more panel, there we go, windscreen up this way. Block the light north wind that it is. Looks like I may have to close it right around. That's producing some heat. I'll put my kettle on. I've got about 2 cups of water in there, more than I need for this, but doesn't hurt to have a little extra. And now it's time to grind some coffee. Alright, so I have my grinder and my AeroPress. So with the grinder, take the lid off. I have 3 tablespoons of a medium roast coffee in the bean form in a small plastic bag here. The trick is to get them into the grinder without spilling any. Well done, Mark. There, I didn't lose any coffee. No coffee loss, no flavor loss. Little dust. It takes a minute to do it this way. You're only really doing 1 cup at a time. But when I grind the coffee using the bird grinder, it'll come down into this little chamber down here. And it will be as fresh as it can be, short of being roasted right here. Just down on the stones is my kettle, very quickly heating up. Try to do this quickly enough that I don't waste the kettle boiling. So, you know, I have people ask me, and a few of my friends make fun of me, why do I spend so much time roasting, grinding, and making coffee with the AeroPress or French press or any other device? Why not just use instant? Don't get me wrong, there are some good instant coffees and I like them and I carry them, but nothing compares to a good cup of freshly roasted, freshly ground, and properly made cup of coffee. And for me, for 1 cup at a time, the AeroPress. And I know, I've said that before, I'll likely say it again. So it is a bit of a ritual. And that's what it is, it's a bit of a ritual. It's a way of enjoying the outdoors. I'm in no rush. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the sun. One of the large dragonflies, about 3 inches long, just landed on my knee a minute ago. Here he's back. Where'd he go? He's come back. Boy, I hope he lands on my knee again. You should see this thing. It's the size of a small bird. Huge dragonfly. Extremely pretty, all the colors in it. If you're not sitting still, you won't see those things. So take the time, sit down, sit still, and enjoy what nature has provided you. May not always be here. May not always be able to get out. But while you can, get out and enjoy it. There we go. Yep. All right. So set that aside because I'm not quite ready to put it in my AeroPress yet. The kettle is just about ready. So the AeroPress, and many of you, you've all seen it before if you've watched my channel. I'm going to be using the stainless steel filter today. It's got small holes in it, and that's sustainable. I do have the paper filters as well, and they're great. And if I'm having a fire, then they're one of the easier things to use because you just pop it into the fire. Small wooden spoon that I carved that I use for stirring it up. Set the bag aside. So once again, for those who may not have seen this before, the way to use it, take a filter, either paper or stainless steel in this case, put it inside the cap, lay the cap aside. The AeroPress itself is a two-part device. I use what's known as the inverted method, so it has a piston with a rubber seal, and I like to use it inverted or upside down because I'm going to put the coffee in, then the water in, and let it set for a few minutes to perk or to steep, I guess. And of course I'll put the lid on just in case I accidentally tip it over, which I've done. And in a couple minutes time it'll be ready. I'll flip it back over and press the coffee down into my cup. And I'm starting to see a little bit of steam, so we're just about there. So let me get the coffee into the AeroPress. That's a lot of coffee. Did I misjudge this? Oh, that's going to be strong. Oh, there's a coffee in there from before. Now, how did that happen? Yeah, I think I've got twice the amount of coffee in here. I must have loaded it and still put coffee in the bag and forgot. All right. That looks as if I'm going to have to pour them back into the bag and then scoop it back out. And since there are two different types of coffee, one was a coffee I roasted myself in the woods, and the other one is a darker roast from home. Might as well mix the two of them together. There we go. Now, well, that would have been one strong cup of coffee. Get about 3 tablespoons in here. This will be interesting to see what this tastes like. And maybe a little more. Perfect. All right, now we're ready. About 3.5 tablespoons of coffee, or closer, maybe just 3 tablespoons of coffee. The little wooden spoon, I don't know exactly how much it holds, but. So I'm just waiting for my kettle to come to a boil to make sure my water has been sterilized from the lake. And the trick is, once it comes to a boil, take the kettle off the heat, give it a 30 seconds to drop in temperature, because of course water boils at 212 Fahrenheit. Coffee, the temperature ideally for your water should be around 190 Fahrenheit. It doesn't take very long to cool off, but I do have to first bring it to a boil to make sure it's clean. All right, we're almost there, but I think I'll bring it back when it's ready and just pick it up from there. Okay, so my water is boiling. Take that off, give it a second to cool down. Oh, almost lost my coffee. Stay still. Get my snuffer lid for the Trangia. Put that out. It's starting to cool off. You know, in the wintertime you can do it almost immediately. In the summertime, it takes a little while for the water to cool, but not very long. Alright, I'm a little impatient anyway. So having made the mistake of not stabilizing this before and having it spill, ooh, just a bubbling and going on. Perfect. A little gentle stir. Hope I got this in frame here. If I don't, let me just bring it back over this way a little bit. filter on, lid on. I need to put that somewhere where it's not going to tip over. Yeah, that's nice and stable. Good. All right, we'll give that about 2 minutes and then we'll make some coffee. I'll bring it back. So as I wait for my coffee to steep in the AeroPress there, I thought I'd just show you. I won't make you watch me eat, but I thought I'll share with you what it is I am eating today. So my main meal, very simple. 1 hard-boiled egg, a little bit of Tabasco sauce. To go along with that, one of the energy bars. And this is a recipe that I shared some time ago, and I'll probably put the link in the video. And this is the one that Lonnie from Far North Bushcraft and Survival showed making one day, and I copied his recipe. I have another one for a high energy one using caffeine and dark chocolate, or coffee and dark chocolate, but this is the regular one. I've already had half of it. I stopped on the trail and had half of it. It is getting soft in the summer heat here. Well, summer, fall, early fall heat. So you do have to keep them in something because they will leak out a little bit of the oil. It is made with peanut butter, but boy, these are delicious. I'd highly recommend that you watch Lonnie's video and get the recipe and watch him make these things. Very good. Sorry about that. I said I wasn't going to make you watch me, and then I went ahead and did it. Okay, I'm going to enjoy that and bring it back when it's time to press the coffee. All right, this should be ready. Turn the press upside down and give it a push. Now, it's not a big cup of coffee, only about 6 ounces. Ooh, smells good. If you want a little bit more, just add a little hot water to it. If you like it nice and concentrated, just like that, as I do, it's perfect. All right, time to sit back and enjoy the coffee. So, you know, one thing I have been doing all summer when I go for a hike is I've been using my Canuck Vecto water container with my Sawyer mini filter to replenish the water in my water bottle. So I'm packing up and getting ready to move on the trail, and I thought I'd show this again. So like I said, I have been using it. I'm still making observations of it. Overall, I've been extremely pleased. Make sure I don't lose that cap. Spilled a little water on myself. Extremely pleased with the performance of this. In my mind, it pretty much resolves the issue of being able to fill a water bag or a bag full of water or some container full of water to use with the Sawyer for replenishing. However, and there it is there. That's the one issue that I'm still experiencing with this. Now, I have to mention this is a first generation bag, and I have been in contact with the company, and they are aware of this issue, and that is what I assumed was cross-threading, and it's not cross-threading at all. It's a mismatch, a slight mismatch of threading between there, I got it that time, between the Sawyer and the bag. So a couple of things have been done. I put my water bottle, here it is. A couple of things have been done. One of the things that Canuck has done has been to redesign the thread area in this area, so I understand, to make it a little stiffer, a little harder, so that it doesn't flex out of shape. Now it is plenty stiff as it is, but they've just reinforced it a little bit more to make sure it's a little sturdier for adding on to the filter. But the other thing that they've discovered in their own testing is that it's not so much the bag, because the bag itself, the threads are standard and fit all types of caps that are standardized caps, as it is the Sawyer. So they have another water filter very similar to the Sawyer. I think it's called the Hydro Blue, and I'll note that on the video if you're interested. I don't have it, I haven't tested it, I can't say whether it's better, worse, the same, or anything else. It appears to be almost identical to the Sawyer, in around the same price, but apparently it lines up better on the threads, so you're less likely to get that mismatching of threads. So now that it's on there properly, you don't want water running down the outside of your bag, so make sure it's relatively dried off so there's nothing running down the outside of the filter and into your water bottle that'll contaminate your source. Put it into the bottle and squeeze. And I've said it before, it's not a fast process. Probably the smarter thing that I could have done is I could have filled this up earlier when I first got here, hung it from a tree branch or tied it to a tree very close to the ground, and just let gravity fill the bottle. Well, I didn't. So now I just take the time. And again, I'm in no rush. I'm sitting here on the side of a lake in the sunshine. What rush could I possibly have? All right, well, that's 750 mils. Pretty quick. A little taste off of it. Ah, very good. You know, I can do one of two things. Now, I don't need the water that's in the bag, but if I wanted to, take the Sawyer off, set it aside, take the cap, and I've tried this. Any pop bottle cap, same thread size, will fit on there, so if you ever do lose this, it will fit and it's not an issue. I like the fact that they're orange because I'm less likely to leave it on a rock and walk away from it. I can take that now either strung to the outside of my backpack, tucked down inside of my backpack, and when I'm ready to refill my water bottle, if I'm away from a water source, then I've got more water that I can be using here. I could refill this. It is a 2-liter container. They now have a 3-liter container, so if you're looking to use this as a bladder in your backpack, which is a perfectly legitimate use for it, then you can get a 2 and a 3-liter version. The other thing they've improved is the slide across the top so that it better locks and there's less likely of any water leaking out around there. I didn't have that experience before. The only thing I did note is that you have to fold the top of it in the right direction, and easy enough learning curve thing to get past. The other thing, I have mentioned them so far, I'm not sure if they have done it yet, is to take some type of a lanyard, a plastic lanyard or something, attach it to the slide top and to the outside of the bag so that you can't lose it. Orange is great, but I just as soon not have to go into the water to fish it out, and that hasn't happened to me, but I've been extra special making sure I put it in my pocket or somewhere that I'm not likely to lose it. But it is possible, right? If you're in a canoe or a kayak or something, it is possible to lose it over the side, so it'd be even better if it was attached to the outside of the bag. So not a product review, I just wanted to let you know that I am still using this, I am still pleased with it, even with that one caveat being that you have to be cautious to make sure that you get it threaded on. Alright, I think it's time to pack up and pick some huckleberries and see what else we can find on the trail. So earlier in the spring I had been out and I had been pointing out a few edible plants, and I had mentioned one was known as the wild raisin. And of course it may have been in flower at that time, but certainly there were no berries on it. Well, this is the wild raisin plant. Now, the red berries are not edible yet. They will mature over the next few weeks, and they're starting to. I think right here in the shade, they're taking a little longer, but you can see this blue one on the end. It starts to get a little droopy, and they will shrivel up somewhat, and that gives them the appearance of a raisin, and they'll actually turn a little darker yet. But even now, once they turn that blue, you can feel the softness, and it's the blue of a blueberry, but here, put them in the face of my hand. See if you can see those. Whoop, lost one. But pop that in my mouth. Quite tasty. They have a fairly large seed in them. Won't hurt you to swallow it, or you can spit it out, doesn't matter. Now for me, I describe the taste as similar to a date. I don't know how others might describe it. Maybe you can tell me how you feel if you are familiar with these. There's a couple more. What they taste like to you. Took a while to get enough to make a meal out of, but a nice little snack along the trail. Okay, it's a late afternoon. I've been on the trail, I don't know, 5 hours. What an enjoyable day to get back out in the woods. I have my coffee cup full, well not quite full, room for a few more of these delicious, huckleberries. So I'm going to fill that up. I think I'll either make jam, make a pie, make muffins. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I get them home. Oh, they're great. So, I hope you've enjoyed this reacquaintance of myself with the area that I love to spend so much time in. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it something that you may want to come back and watch more of my videos. I'll certainly be out within the next week. I am on my way to Cape Breton tomorrow, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and I'll explain more about that, but I'm going to the Highlands National Park for 2 days with my wife. We're going to be staying in what's known as an otentnik, which is a cross between a tent and a cabin. And when I do, I'll share that with you, and some new trails up there that I haven't done before. So I'll be bringing that to you in the next few days. It might be a week or so before you see the video, but that's what I'll be doing over the next few days anyway. Okay, I'm going to head out now, and I don't know that I'll see anything else to turn the camera back on, but if I do, I'll make sure that I turn the camera back on and share it with you. But until I see you again, make sure you get out and explore and take that path less traveled. It will make all the difference. Bye for now.